Hi, guys, and welcome back to another podcast. Today we have none other than my college friends, Janelle and Natalie. So, we all actually went to Harrington together and we met our freshman year of college. And since then, we just kind of kept this friendship bond between all of us. We are missing a fourth member, Stephanie. So, if you're watching this, we miss you. And so today I'm just going to interview them about college, about our jobs, and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to briefly introduce them to you guys. Janelle is a senior designer at a high-end residential firm, and Natalie is a manager at a high-end furniture retailer. So, let's get down to the basics. First question is, how did you guys know you wanted to become an interior designer?
Yeah, so I think for me, when I realized I was interested in doing interior design, it was actually more of a realization from my parents. At a young age, I remember just really liking to watch HGTV and Trading Spaces, and I would get home from school, have like an after school snack and like start doing my homework and watch them like every day after school. And my parents kind of picked up on that. And, being younger, I wasn't really in the mindset of thinking like, well, what do I want to do when I'm in college? And, my parents were both like, you could do this as a career path. Like, you're really interested in it. You love watching these things. And you kind of have like an eye for that at a young age. And so it was really them that kind of introduced me to this could be a career for you. And so that's kind of how I got interested in wanting to pursue it.
That's awesome. I love when parents support their kids, especially when they want to become interior designer, because a lot of people think, oh, you want to become a designer? Like, are you sure?
Yeah, totally. My dad was like a little more hesitant about it. He's like, you can get paid to do that?
I know.
Are you sure? And, sure enough, like he's been so proud of me ever since. And, can really see like just his eyes really were opened up to the whole industry of, there's a demand for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed. As both of you, both of my parents were amazing, and I was the one that brought it up to them. Like, I want to go to college for interior design. And they kind of just, gave me the look. Mm-hmm. And they're like, but it didn't take too long to sink in. They're like, no, that seems about right for you. Ever since I was little, I mean, if you could get me paper, crayons, colored pencils, I was all for it. I wasn't like a huge like, oh, give me puzzles or I'm like, no, I want anything creative. Give me canvases, give me all of that. So when I brought this up to my parents, they weren't shocked at all. None of my family members. They were like, that makes sense. But yeah, I come from like a super creative family, which is funny because we either have the doctors or we have the creative people.
Oh,
so when I'm like, I want to do this as a career. This is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, let's get you through this. Let's do this. We went to Harrington, the three of us, did the interview, and they were like, this is Natalie. She's going to be good at this. So, but yeah, they just super supportive. But I knew that, again, I was creative and I was able to do all these things, but I don't think I was really narrowing it down to interior design. I knew I liked to do things around my house. Yeah. And that's what my parents started to notice. But I think until I was actually in college, I was like, I'm in the right spot.
Okay. Oh. So who else in your family is in the creative fields?
I have cousins, aunts, and uncles who are painters, graphic designers, architects.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's usually, I have a lot of family in Mexico.
Yeah.
But here in the States, I have a lot of family who works in retail and things like that. And so, yeah.
It runs in the family.
It does.
Let's talk college. So rate your college experience from 1 being the worst and 5 being the best, and just kind of state like your overall thoughts on college, interior design college.
I, for one, had a blast in college. One, I met you amazing people that I want to have in my life until I die. So besides the friendships you build and the connections, that's obviously a plus. But again, as soon as I walked through the doors, I loved every step of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, it's not a walk in the park. There's a lot of experiences and classes that, were a little dry. And I was like, I need 10 more cups of coffee to get through this. I don't think I've ever drank so much coffee in my life.
Yeah. All of our Starbucks runs.
Yes, downstairs. So my best was obviously all the interior design classes. Like that's when you really got to just kind of like expand your skills and put everything together and see it come to life. Whereas when you were taking all these other classes, you did little side projects here and there, but when you took these interior design classes, you got to do the whole thing, and it was great. Honestly, I don't know if I have like a worst. I feel like some of the, obviously the gen eds were a little rough.
Yeah.
And those were a little rough, but having classes with you guys like made it 10 times better and bearable. But yeah, no, I don't know. I can't really think of a
5 out of 5.
I mean, I don't know about 5 out of 5, but
Maybe like
a solid 4, maybe 4.5. But again, I think that has to do with your attitude toward the classes and how much energy you're putting into it, and if you really want to be there. I think for all of us, I mean, I'm talking about myself, but I'm pretty sure you guys can agree that when you're meant to be somewhere, it doesn't seem like a class or homework, or it seems like you're just being yourself. And,
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like those are the best parts about college is like you're actually doing the thing that you want to be doing.
Exactly.
And I feel like in high school and you're taking like science classes and you're like, I am not going to want to use this. Like, I'm not interested in that.
Right.
And then I feel like when you're in college, you're like, all right, I'm actually like on the road to, the thing I
want to do. I completely agree. The funny thing is when I was growing up, I'm like, I'm going to be an astronaut because I loved everything about space. But then later in life, I was like, I get really bad motion sickness. That's going to be a no. So when I know, like Janelle said earlier, when you're so young, you really don't know. And it is a hard decision when you're in senior of high school. What am I going to do? What career path am I going to go? And that's the hardest decision. And I think we were just blessed to know that we knew what we wanted to do. And like I said, it's even like work. When I'm at work, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like I'm just doing my thing. And I just show up, do my thing, and it's good to go.
So Janelle, what's your rating?
Yeah, I thought about this, and I agree with what Natalie said about really enjoying school and the coursework. And I think going to Harrington in particular, it was such a small school that I feel like you are missing out on some of the like bigger school atmosphere and kind of like the activities that come along with that. And so I think overall, loved Harrington, loved the coursework, really felt like that was what I was supposed to be doing. But it was really just school. And it was like, commuting back and forth was kind of another part of that was tough. But like Natalie said, I met some of my best friends there, and that's, so like that's amazing. But yeah, I feel like I kind of give it a 4 out of 5 just because, you do kind of miss out on some of those like bigger school activities and experiences. And that was kind of tough for me, but we still had a great time with what we were given, and I really enjoyed it overall.
It's very true. Yeah, our school was very specific. It was very specific for just design, and we did miss out on, football games and I don't know, mixers and things like that. But I agree. The commuting, I completely forgot about.
I know, that was
all
hard.
The commuting, carrying our projects on the L. Well, you were on the Metro, but Carrying my projects on the L was a nightmare and a half.
For
But
sure. That was tough.
it was tough. I just
We
didn't
were
want
always schlepping.
yes, everything, and I just don't want anyone touching my stuff. Like, don't touch this.
Oh my gosh, or even carrying like big projects that you
Right.
modeled like on a train.
Yeah, the
and you have to take
models,
up a whole
You
seat
spent
and people
20
give you a dirty
hours
look.
building,
Yes.
and then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I have
I
to
know.
now transport this thing.
Honestly, I think I even like had to like recruit my dad one day to like drop me off at school because I'm like, I am
Yeah.
not carrying this on the train.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to take me to school. And luckily, he works in the city, so that was not a big deal. But I was just so paranoid that someone was gonna be like, "Sorry, there goes your thesis."
I know. Yes, that was rough.
Yeah, so we all commuted to school. We Natalie used to live in Des Plaines. Janelle lived in Wheaton. And I lived in Glendale Heights at that time. So it was all about like an hour commute to the train to the school because it was like right like in the heart in the city.
Yeah,
Totally.
Those
I
were some
know.
good times.
those were good times. Our school was very nicely located.
It really
was,
was because
yeah.
like the train was right there and the metro was literally like a 5 to 10 minute walk. So it's so convenient. In college, did you know what type of field you wanted to be in? Because I know there's different areas in interior design, like you want to be in commercial, or you want to be in residential, or you want to design in healthcare. Did you know in college what you wanted to do? And did your mind change after college?
Yeah, I feel like at the time, it's hard because I'm like, well, I don't know where I'm going to be able to get a job after
Yeah.
this. So, like, at the time, I probably didn't totally know, but I think that I knew I was interested in like high-end luxury types of, designs, whether that would have been residential or commercial. But I do think part of me realized that I was a little bit more interested in the residential field of things, and that's ultimately, where I ended up. But I always thought like commercial design with like restaurants was really interesting, and those can be super luxurious and really cool too. But at the end of the day, I've really loved working in the residential field of it because you are so closely connected with the personal experiences of your clients and like what they're looking for and wanting, and to have an impact on the spaces that they're living in. I just have always thought is really cool.
I, believe it or not, wanted to do set design for movies. Yeah, that was actually.
Briefly remember you
I
mentioning
that was like my dream. Might still be, but I was just fascinated about all the behind the scenes and all the work it took to just set up these sets. And I would watch like the Oscars and stuff, and I would just see that they would recreate these sets, and I'm like, well, obviously someone is doing that. Can that be me? So for the longest time, I actually did want to go into like commercial and like theater and things like that. I thought that was like super cool. And at that time, I felt that was the field I wanted to go into because I was able to do my creative thoughts. I was able to be more creative in commercial. And for the longest time, I thought that's what I wanted to do. And then, like Janelle says, like I shortly got a job after graduating in residential. And I was like, okay, well, stepping stone, got to start somewhere. And I was just like, you don't really get the whole creativeness of it. And I was not so for it. But then I started to realize that you could equally be creative on both ends because, like Janelle says, it's just a different type because you're getting to work with a client and basically make their dream a reality. What they're envisioning, it's your job to make it come true. And I thought, for the longest time that wasn't capable, like that wasn't a thing with residential. But like Janelle says, here I stand working behind the scenes even in residential. And it's actually gratifying just when clients walk in and they see something I created and they're just like, wow, I want all of this. Don't change anything. And we're good to go.
Yeah. For me, in school, like, I always knew you wanted to be in residential because you would see Janelle's projects. It was always, like, high-end luxury.
Yes.
And then yours were always, like, so vibrant and colorful. So it makes sense that you would want to be a set designer. And I was like, I'm going to do commercial. I want nothing to do with residential.
Yeah, you were, like, in love with libraries and schools and helping the community and creating buildings, for sure. I remember that.
Yeah, so it's funny for me how I flipped the switch because after so long in being commercial, I was like, I want to design people's homes. It's very intimate process, and the way that people kind of react to your designs, like I want that. So once I switched over to residential, it was just like game over. Yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it's funny how that works, right? I was like you. I was like, no way, residential. No, I don't want that.
Yeah,
and I don't know. There's a feeling at the end when you finish a project, and they're just so happy.
It's like that wow factor.
Yeah, it's.
And I think just, working one-on-one with your clients, it's like, it's so gratifying to like be able to, have that feedback like so directly, like by working with someone on designing their home.
That's true.
Really...
What is something you felt school didn't prepare you for? Dun, dun, dun.
That's a good one. So I had thought about that, and I think the biggest thing for me, or at least in my job, is that I manage a lot of teams. So I manage my display team. I manage contractors, the designers. And there's a lot of people, I have to basically keep above water to make sure everyone's like running like a well-oiled machine. And I think that we didn't really get a whole lot of exposure to because everything was conceptual.
Yeah.
In school, you got to do your projects. You got to do the scheduling of the project managers' classes. You got to do all of that, but you didn't actually get like the real world pressure and time management and stuff. Like, we did have deadlines for our projects. We did have deadlines for this, but it's different when you're in the real world because things happen. The fabric was dropped. The painter couldn't come in due to whatever. And that backs you up. And they do say it, but I think that was the one thing that in my field now I've had to learn on my own, just time management and just being a good leader, really taking charge.
How much time do you have? Because I feel like school didn't prepare me for a lot of things. Oh
my God! Yes. The tea.
Yes. Oh my God. Ooh. Truly. Dropping the tea. I'm gonna let you all in on all the secrets of what school doesn't teach you. Honestly, I think that there were so many things that school can't prepare you for, and I understand that school can't really give you real life experience, and that's really something that you just need at a certain point. But really, I feel like certain, management skills, I know that Natalie had a similar experience of just, managing people or project managing, I feel like is such an important part of what we do. And there really aren't classes that can teach you those kinds of things. They could possibly make more of them to kind of help us in that area, but school can't really, teach you some of the basic things about, being at a firm and working with clients and all of that. So I really think that an internship is really what I would highly recommend for everyone in this field to really get their feet wet and see, test out different firms and see, how they operate, how they work, and what you like and what you don't like, because that's really where you get the most experience from.
It just opens your eyes.
Totally. And I think, school can't really prepare you for how a site visit works with, a client or with different trades, like, specifying lighting and light fixture drops and sconce placements and, where the plumbing fixtures go. So all of that is really valuable experience to have if you have the opportunity to get an internship and have a firm that will be willing to like take you to job sites and like get some of that experience early on. I think it's super helpful.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I was not prepared at all for budgeting.
It's a real life
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
School is all about imaginary.
Yeah,
like,
it's all
concepts.
conceptual.
Yeah.
Yes.
And once I got into commercial, like our job that I had was just kind of to design, and that was awesome and great. But once I moved to residential, I was like the one in charge of the budget, and I was like, how do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I feel so lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not at all feel prepared for that, as well as like project managing, like going to site visits and making sure that everything's good. Like you learn all that in your experience, and it's such a shocker because you're like, oh my gosh. Like school it's done a great job for us to learn softwares and concepts and theories and all that stuff, but when it comes to real world things, like you gotta experience it.
Right. And yeah, you have to definitely budget out a plan. There's budgets, there's time schedules you have to keep up with, and this is real life deadlines that people are like, well, I'm moving in on December 1st.
Yeah.
So you got to make it work. And that's something that I agree school doesn't prepare you for. And just to piggyback on Janelle, internships I feel like are very crucial to know what you want to do. And Janelle mentioned this materials class that we took. We took that very early on, and I do remember that class, and I do remember bits and pieces of it, very, very, very little. But now working in my residential, we have, walls and walls of fabrics that clients can go through. And the one main question they go, I have 5 kids, or I have pets, or I like to entertain, or there's people who are like, nope, I don't, it's just me and my husband or me and my partner, but we get a lot of sun, and, you can't put like a silk curtain up or silk sofas. So it's all of that you learn as you go. I learned all the stuff I've learned. It's just on jobs and working that.
Totally. I know. I feel like that materials class was way too early in our, courses. I feel like it was one of the first classes we took. We had and we had no idea really what that was all about and why it was so important. And that's really what we're doing on a daily basis. That, like, there definitely could have been more of that.
Right.
And I think that would have been super helpful.
Because for our studio classes, we were in charge of selecting the materials, the furniture. So I remember in class, I was just Googling.
Right.
Like materials, not really thinking about the durability of it, like how many double rubs does it have, and thinking about how it applies to the concepts of the design. I wasn't thinking of that. I was just like thinking visual.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and also just managing people. I feel like we did all have to take a project managing class or 2. I don't really remember,
It was
but
just one, I think.
was it 1?
Yeah.
It felt like 2.
I don't even remember that class at all.
Really?
Did I take that class?
Slightly remember it.
I remember it because for a while I was like, okay, project management, like that's helpful, but I feel like they crammed too much in one class. I think that could have definitely gone into different years or semesters. Also, during our interior design classes, I feel like they just kind of sent us out go get materials, but they didn't make us do a budget or a timeline of what you're supposed to do, because honestly, you don't really pick materials until the very end, or at least that's how I feel. I'm over here, I'm going to the job, I'm talking to the client, what do they need? You pick out the items, and then at the very end, you do the fun stuff, which is pick the fabrics, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think especially the process. We all just knew we have a deadline, we have a project to be complete, but we don't know the steps it takes for a renovation or for a new build. What happens, when do the cabinets get installed, when does the plumbing happen? I think that's all very crucial information to know.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay, so how did you get the job you are in now?
To be honest, I don't remember. I've been there for a while, like I said, since we graduated. And I've just slowly built my way up in that company, which is great. But I want to say I saw maybe, I don't know if it was through LinkedIn, or I saw that there was like a job fair at one of the showrooms, and I just went and right there and then interviewed and started up. But I think I found it, through an email or something. Yeah, and I had no idea who they were. So, like I said, it was just mainly like, I just wanted to get my feet wet and just have a stepping stone to start my career.
So how long have you been with this company?
I've been with them for 9 years.
Wow.
Going
and
on
you
10.
moved up the ladder, right?
I have. I've moved. Let's see how many positions.
So many.
I know, so many. I started off as like a sales designer, and then from there I went to the display management, and from there I went to a larger showroom where I had to manage like probably a group of 6 people, and then now I manage basically like my entire department.
Look at you, girl.
So,
The show over there.
oh my gosh. Hashtag exhausted. Hashtag, no, it's great. I love, again, I go to work and I feel confident in what I'm doing, the decisions I'm making, problem solving, all of that. I guess that's another thing that school didn't really prepare us for. Problem solving, which is every day, all day, just putting out fires.
It's true. Yeah, I found my current employer through a friend at my previous employer. So she was really helpful in connecting me with the firm that I'm at now. She had a close relationship with my boss, and at the time I was really nervous to tell anyone at my previous employer, like, hey, I'm thinking about making a change and kind of getting, closer to the design industry. And, I confided in her, saying like, yeah, I think I'm ready for a change. And she just has so many connections and so many people that she knows. So she was really helpful in connecting me with where I am now. And, it just so happened at that same time, the firm was hiring, and so I know all the stars really
all the stars aligned.
But it's always those helpful connections are always
it's always
helpful.
about somebody that you know.
Yes, it's
Always.
who you know.
Yes.
It's who you know, not
Yes.
what you know.
Yeah.
Always.
So how long have you been with that current company?
It's been 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And you moved up in the scale, right?
Yeah, I started as an associate designer, and then just grew into my senior designer role, and that kind of just happens naturally with more and more experience. It's just something that I've wanted to be in that role, and kind of just had your eye on the prize, and work really hard to prove that you can be in that area.
Yeah.
Gotta work hard to play hard, right?
Exactly.
So I know you guys kind of already mentioned a little bit about your job responsibilities. Natalie, you manage a couple people. So like, what's like your day-to-day basis?
Day to day, you come in, and I basically just try to catch up on everyone's like status and stuff. So again, I'm kind of the go-to for questions and problem solving. So if someone's having an issue, they can't get a contractor in, or they're having problems outsourcing somebody, I'm the one that they call. So I'm like, researching and things like that. Scheduling on top of that, like doing my normal like display work and making sure my own showroom, because I have my own showroom, and and I work with I have a colleague with me, so she's awesome.
Yeah.
And but there's like 10 other showrooms that are having the same issues we are, so they call me. Yeah, it's just a lot of back and forth emails and, when you get to really do the fun stuff, when it, the designing part, it's great. But it is a lot of
There's
a lot
also
of
these little.
a lot of keyboard action.
Yeah.
I mean, my boss always, tells us it's like designing is maybe like 10% of it.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's so much other stuff that comes into it and, that, you're really not designing a majority of your day.
Right, yeah. It's a lot of
everything else that comes with it.
A lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
It's gratifying when, clients walk in and they're just inspired, and at the end of the day, I feel like I've done my job. Because, there are days, like Janelle says, like maybe that 10% just doesn't squeeze in the day. But when somebody walks in and is just amazed by your work, or they come in and they're like, oh, wow, like this place has never looked better, or things like that. It's, it's like a pat on your back.
Those are the days that keep us going.
Those are
literally client compliments are like what drives us.
Yes,
really
yes.
We never have enough.
Yes,
actually.
it's honestly, yeah. So, and, I think part of being a leader too is being a role model and being supportive, and also just giving like positive energy to your team. And I think that's what is vital to having a good team, because when your team leader is stressed out, acting crazy, you're like, oh, so should we
be
panicking?
Off of that
should we be? So another thing, I just just being a great role model to my team and helping them out.
Janelle?
Well, again, how much time do you have?
Janelle is all about really.
I know. I mean, yeah, working, at a small residential firm, I feel like that was something I was looking for, making that change 6 years ago. And so you really like get to do a little of everything, which I love, but, with that, comes a lot of responsibility. So, on a day-to-day basis, I could be doing, really any of these things, but, we are really working on each client project beginning to finish. And so with that comes, pulling concept images, putting floor plans together, putting budgets together, sourcing, pricing, putting proposals together, going on site visits, tracking orders, getting ready for an install, sourcing art. Like, it's just, every project is typically in a different phase, and every day is different, which is really fun and really cool because you get to do something different every day. So yeah, I mean, it's great because you get to do a little of everything at a firm that I'm at. And that's what I love, and at the same time, that's what can be hard because you're doing it all.
Yeah.
Can I just say, are these lead times killing you?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Post-pandemic lead times.
It's unreal. I've been getting quotes for like, this is going to take 30 weeks.
30 to 40 weeks.
40 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, is this real life?
Yes, I know.
That's way too long. Who is going to want to wait for that?
I just helped, I think last year, an e-design client. And he was very specific about, he wanted like a bachelor pad look. And I spec'd out the sectional that was just perfect for the project. And I think I designed it in December, and he just got the sectional.
That's about right.
Insane.
That's about right. We were telling all of our clients, if you want any outdoor stuff, we were telling them in winter. And now in winter, we were like, do you want any summers? Or if summer, do you want anything in the winter?
Yeah.
That's how it's.
I know.
And those are the curveballs, again, of real life that you just have to work around.
It's been so rough.
Yeah.
What kind of software do you guys use?
Right now, we actually opened up a new software. It's called NetSuite.
NetSuite, okay.
Yeah, and that's our main software that we use to track shipments and schedule trucks and stuff like that. It's like it has all of our orders on it and stuff. So NetSuite, Outlook, AutoCAD, a PowerPoint for presentations. Let's see, I'm trying to think of what else we use. It's a lot of hand sketching, mainly because, clients are always, got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just came on. I got 5 minutes here. And so it's a lot of hand sketching. And then, like Janelle said, just kind of after you get what the client wants, you just kind of bring that into PowerPoint, give them the concept images, things like that.
That's awesome.
It's because they're quick. Clients come in because it's a retail. People come in and they want like a solution right there and then. So you just quickly have to like have a visualization of what their room can be.
Like when you say sketching, like are you doing like 3D sketching?
No,
or
no
just
3D
floor
sketching.
plan
Just
sketching?
floor plan sketching.
Okay,
Just
I was
floor
thinking
plan.
you were like drawing all the walls, the windows.
Oh no, girl, ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, so it's floor plan. Okay.
I'm over here like Picasso.
Let me get my watercolor.
Right?
Like wait.
Yeah, no. These are just like quick floor plans.
Okay.
And then later on, we bring that onto the computer.
Okay.
But AutoCAD is another main one.
Yeah, I feel like I am most frequently using AutoCAD, for floor plans and tweaking things or putting something in an elevation to see. And InDesign is really what we use to put a lot of our presentations together. And I love using that software. And then, kind of just like real life, it's like we're using Google Docs a lot and putting budgets together and
Excel.
Yep, exactly.
I didn't realize that was going to be a program that we were going to be using a lot.
Excel.
Because we didn't really use it at all in college.
Oh,
no.
Add that to the list of
that's true.
What they didn't
Excel.
prepare us
Yeah,
for.
Excel, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly. I think I learned Excel, again, from my coworkers on the job.
Totally.
They're the ones that just like, oh, you could do this and this. And
right now, I'm just like all about like, oh my gosh, what are some tips and tricks? I'm like, shortcuts.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
For that.
Honestly, I love a good spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me a formula you need to know.
Yes.
I'll let you in on it.
Yeah. What do you think is the hardest part of our job?
Yeah, I think kind of like I mentioned earlier.
Janelle is like, I'm just releasing.
Yes, just releasing all of the things. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, the part that I love about the firm I'm in is you get to do a little of everything, but at the same time, like that's part of what makes it challenging at times because you're managing a lot of different things all at the same time and
multiple hats to wear.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like, when you're in all of the details at every step of a project, it's like you want to be good at all of those things, and reality is it's like you might not love the budgeting part of it, but it's still something you need to do. And so I think just really juggling all of it is what can make it hard, but at the same time, like that's what is a really rewarding piece of it too, because when you're in all your projects, you're managing all of them and things are going well, it's like, oh, like this is so rewarding. That feels so good to like be able to deliver on all of these various things.
Mine would have to probably be different personality types and managing people.
That's so good.
It's on a good day you'll get an amazing client.
Yeah.
And they listen to you and all your suggestions, and it's sunshine and rainbows, and it's fabulous.
This is I just am resonating with everything.
And then you get those lovely, fabulous clients who, if they want an elephant hanging from the ceiling, they want an elephant hanging from the ceiling, and the client wants what they want, and you politely suggest something different.
And they don't want to listen to your feedback.
They don't want to.
They're like so stuck on what they want.
And I don't. I can say that we are in a world of technology. People are competitive shopping. People are looking at things. They're going online. They're Googling. I get it. But once they see this one specific thing, like I saw a table and it's 30 inches, and I want to sit 8 people on it. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
8 like dolls or and it's it's managing and being professional and just trying to guide your clients to the right way, but at the end of the day You know, it's their money, it's their budget, and sometimes the budgets are unrealistic. They want something that, you know, is champagne, but you got a beer budget, and and you
that's a good example. That's so good.
and I'm just like, okay, well, let's see what we can get at the Aldi or something.
Aldi sell furniture because that's where you should go.
Right. So, and you know, you have to like slowly make them realize, you know, that it's not, you know, 1994, and you know, if you want a specific look, you want this all custom, it's gonna cost a pretty penny. But it's just managing different personality types is really challenging.
I feel like we should have taken like a psychology class, the study of people.
Right. And again,
That's our job.
Yeah, I didn't get taught that until I was trained at my current job. They were the ones that taught me how to deal with different personality types. The one that's always like speaking 100 miles per hour, the ones that are like the analytical brain, like I want to know what this sofa is made of to the nail.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
They want their clients like, what is this made out of? What is the foam made out of? What is the wood made out of? Where is that coming from? Yeah. And you're just like, okay.
It's a test.
Yeah. And then there's people that are like, I just want something like really pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can do that. So yeah, just managing different personality types and clients.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with both of you guys. Like, we wear so many hats as a designer that it's challenging, especially for me being a solo designer and business owner. It's challenging, and then dealing with multiple personalities of clients.
Helping them visualize is also a hard one because people cannot visualize space, and I don't realize that's like a skill we have until I'm like, even in real life, I like talk to Manny, and I'm like, oh, I can see this wall being this color, and he's like, what are you doing? No, what is this? And I'm like, no, it's going to turn out really great. Like, it's going to be fine.
Like, you kind of just
know. Visualize it. Yeah. And he totally poo-poos my ideas all the time. And then I make it happen because, you know, I still do it.
Yeah, like,
and I'm doing this regardless or not. And he's just like, oh, wow, this looks really awesome. I'm like,
I'm the
designer. So getting people to visualize the vision is another challenge for sure.
Last question. If you weren't a designer, what career can you envision yourself doing? What other career path?
I feel like I would definitely still be in the design industry of some sort, but if I wasn't doing interior design, I've kind of thought about graphic design potentially. Like, I don't know, I've just always found an interest in like typography and just things that look good, you know, like designing paper products or, you know, stationery, just something in that field. I feel like
you're really good at that stuff too.
I love that stuff. So, you know, it's like I still get to, you know, have an interest in it with what I'm doing currently. But yeah, that would be the second option for me.
That's a good one. Same here. I mean, definitely something in design. But if I have to just completely go the opposite way, I don't know if it's opposite way or not, but like I always thought like wedding planning or just like event planning was kind of cool. Yeah. And now that I, you know, have had the experience of managing people, I think it'd be great. But I also like, I do like science. Like, can I understand it? No, like to save my life. But just anything like with like space and stuff, like if I had to go like complete polar opposite, I'd be like, hey NASA.
Astronaut?
Hey NASA. I don't know if I'd be able to be an astronaut, but unless they have like barf bags on hand. But just like you know, space and stuff like really fascinates me, or anything that has to do with travel. Like any, you know, if I, you know, have to travel around the globe for something, probably sign up for it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Going back to what you said about wedding planning, I actually feel like wedding planning like and interior design definitely could have some parallel
Right.
paths of,
I know someone that she also worked with me in the same design firm that I used to work for, and she went on to do her own thing. And part of her scope is she designs weddings.
Ah.
So it's really interesting.
Mhm.
So
yeah, I feel
like-
like the design aspect is there, the deadlines are
Right.
there, the
Budget.
management, budgets. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all there.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think it's fun.
I initially thought I was gonna do something in fitness because I.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
fitness queen over
If
here.
you guys don't know, I
Interesting.
used to do a lot of Spartan races back in the day. I would still do some now, but I as I kind of ventured on my own, I just can't really envision myself doing anything else but design. Again, it's such a passion that we all hold that it's hard to envision ourselves doing something else. But I mean, if I was an interior designer, I'd probably do something else creatively.
Yeah.
Because we just have those creative minds.
I know. I just can't see myself like working behind a desk
Yeah.
or something, keyboarding away. I can't.
Yeah.
I definitely I'm a hands-on person, so I don't know. But yeah, Miss Fitness Queen. I think a lot of Spartan races is a little understatement, don't you?
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah. She was
I
being
think, like,
humble.
I would do one like every weekend because I just loved it.
That's awesome.
She just
Yeah.
put us all to shame. Meanwhile, Janelle and I are like eating Cheetos on the couch.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Cheeto Puffs.
Yeah.
actually,
Oh,
and
yeah.
my
True.
favorite,
Yeah.
so-
We're like, go Sandra.
Yes. From afar.
So, last but not least, I have a fun speed round for you guys to play.
Oh my God.
It's just like a
Fun.
this or that.
Okay.
It's just a few things. I just want to get your guys' opinion. Hardwood floor or luxury vinyl tile?
Oh, geez. Hardwood floors.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Hardwood.
Yeah, we're going the real
Yeah,
deal.
I am. Yeah, vinyl is everywhere right now, and it's actually
Yeah.
driving me insane.
Yeah. DIY or hire a professional?
Well, pay me because I'm the professional.
Yes, professional all the way.
We hire ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't afford myself, actually.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's funny
same.
when, people will
Yeah.
be like, yeah, you do this. Can you help me? I'm like, it's funny because I can't even afford these things.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah.
Fake plants or real plants?
The real deal.
Okay, I was about to say I'm all real.
Yeah.
I've been collecting plant moms. I'm a
Yeah.
plant mom.
We're all about the real deal.
Yeah,
here.
all the real.
Neutrals or color?
Janelle is definitely a
Yeah.
neutral. We got
I
the
already
I
neutral.
was
You got
like,
the
okay, you
neutral
guys go
tones
first.
over here.
I'm boring neutrals.
I love neutrals, and they work. But you know me, I have to have that pop of color. I have to.
Lake house or mountain house?
Ooh. I'm going to say lake house, but you cannot go wrong with mountains.
I know. Can I get both? Can I get like? Can I get a lake with the mountains?
Like Cali vibes.
Yeah.
That's all the speed rounds.
Awesome, that was
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Well, this is the wrap of the podcast. I feel like we can just go on talking about design, our careers, college, all that good stuff. So, I want to thank you guys again so much for coming on here. We learned
course.
so much, and
Of
this
course.
was so much fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below if you guys have any questions, or if you want to see them come back for another round of a podcast. And yeah, give it a video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys on the next podcast episode. Peace.